Hi, welcome. It's Dawn here at Stickleton, and right, this video is going to be, well, this is the start of a series. I've been watching Tracy over on our Smallholding adventure. I've actually met Tracy a good few years ago now, and I've been following her and her husband and their children's story through their small holding. Now, just recently, Tracy has started doing videos about the cost of living and how they're handling it as a family. And there was a few things on there on her videos I've seen, and I thought, oh yeah, I really like that idea. Yeah, I can see where she's going with that. So I thought I'm going to adopt a few of her ideas myself. And one of the reasons being is we just have an absolute mountain of food here. Absolute mountain, too much. And since I became unwell September last year, so that's a year ago now, I haven't been doing as much in the kitchen as what I normally do, and Martin has taken over doing the shopping, etc. And things have been slipping a bit. We've not been, I'm being totally honest here, we've not been living totally off what we produce here on the small holding. So needless to say, we have got, you know, an absolute mountain of food. Let me just shut that kitchen door a minute before the wind blows it open. So after watching Tracy, she's been doing this for about three, she's just done her third video. So after watching her, and I'm thinking, and she shows you her pantry and her fridge and everything, you know, and how she's planning out meals for the week using what they have and cutting back their family budgets. If you haven't seen it, pop over, have a look. She does have some really, really good, interesting ideas. There's just me and Martin here. We don't have any children or nothing. But I thought, right, I'm going to have a look at my own pantry and see what's going on there. And I don't have a pantry, I just have a cupboard. A larder cupboard, that's it there. And I have this cupboard here. And I've got another cupboard down below. I'm waiting for my pantry to be built. So I started by going through my pantry shelf by shelf, and also I've recently mentioned on some of my videos how I've changed my diet. So that's just for me personally, because I wanted to lose weight. So there was a lot of stuff in the cupboards. There was stuff left over actually from when I've done diet plans before. They've all now gone in the bin. Not interested in them. So so I had a good go through the cupboards, and I thought, you know, there's a lot of stuff there, and there's a lot of stuff we need to use. But as well as that, of course, there's all the stuff that I preserve. All the canning, all the stuff that's dehydrated, all the stuff that's dehydrated is in this cupboard that's here. And then, of course, because we produce all our own meat, we've got 3 chest freezers out in the barn full of meat. I've got a tall larder freezer in the back porch here, which has got all fruit and vegetables in. And then there's a small chest freezer that I use to keep our goat milk in. And that goat milk, of course, we use, you know, all through the time where we're not milking them. And it usually sees us through until perhaps a few weeks, maybe a month before we start milking again. And so when I went round and I was looking at it all, and it was just overwhelming. It was just mind-blowing, the amount of food we had. And I actually think we could probably survive for a good couple of years on just the food that we've got stored. But of course, there's always more food coming on. So, and I thought we've just got to And when I'm going through the freezers and I'm looking, you know, well, that's been bought from the shop and that's been bought from the shop and so forth and so forth, you know, and I thought, we just got to stop this. So I'm not even setting a shopping budget. I have just said, we're not doing any more shopping. That's it. We have just got to plan our meals, and we have got to eat what we've got here. So I had a bit of a chat to Martin about this, and I just said to him the amount of food that we've got. And when I went through the pantry, there was a good amount of stuff that I threw out. And going through our tin cupboard, there was stuff. We don't eat a lot of tinned food. I don't even buy in a lot of tinned food, but we have tinned food. Some of it has come to us in food hampers that have been gifted and that. And that stuff, it's not stuff we generally eat. And it's just sat there. And some of it was like 8 years out of date, and some of the cans were dented, and some of them, let me let this dog back in, some of them were starting to show signs of rust, and there was even a couple of cans there that were blown. So the whole lot has gone. And in fact Martin's on a tip run right now, so he's getting rid of stuff down the tip. And so I have been having a look at how Tracy plans her meals. Now, I can't do it sitting down thinking, right, Monday we're going to have this, Tuesday we're going to have that, Wednesday we're going to have that, or whatever. I can't do it like that. I've tried that before. It doesn't really work for me. But what I can do is decide on our meals for the week, and as Tracy does, you know, she looks at what is ready to come in from the garden, and includes that in meals as well. So sort of following Tracy's theme and adding a few bits in of my own, this is what I have come up with. Right, I haven't got any fancy boards or anything. These are just a couple of old white boards I've got that have been sitting around, because as you know, my kitchen's a wreck. But this is what we're going to be eating this week, and in fact we started this yesterday. So we've already had the crispy Mongolian lamb and salad. We had that last night. So these are our meals for the rest of this week, taking us up to next Sunday. And they will just be, as I know, tomorrow evening we're having the buffalo pie because I've actually taken that meat out to defrost. Tonight we're having the prawn curry because that's what I fancy. As for the other two, they'll be at some point Wednesday and Thursday. I know there's nothing for Friday. I know there's nothing for Saturday because Martin is away. So there will be food left over from these, and I will have them on the Friday night and the Saturday night. This is what we got ready to harvest in the garden. And of course there's always more stuff coming on. So this is what we got ready to harvest. So I've got to start including some of these in with the meals. So I have done there the prawn curry tonight. I'm adding some spinach to it. The Moroccan meatballs, that will be made up with some tomatoes from the polytunnel. Buffalo pie will be with broccoli, and I shall do some potatoes for Martin because I've got a broccoli in the fridge to use. The pulled pork, I'm going to be making up some coleslaw, which is going to be using carrots out in the fridge, cabbage and onions, cabbage from the polytunnels, and Martin will probably have some chips or French fries, whatever you want to call them. The salad, of course, that all came from the polytunnels. So I'm going to be doing it like that, and having it written up what's ready to harvest. It means Martin can keep on top of it as well. So if he's cooking or whatever, he can keep on top of it. The other board I've got is this one, and it is what's got to be preserved each week. So the radishes, which I'm going to be pickling, swede I'm going to be canning, the cabbage, which is going to be coleslaw, and that's going to be canned. The blueberries will go in the freezer because I use blueberries quite a lot. The courgettes will be grated up, and some will be dehydrated, and the rest will go in the freezer. and vegetable soup with a lot of odd bits and pieces of veg, and that is going to be canned. And then this week I've also got forage, rose hips and mushrooms. So right, now let me show you the fridge. Even doing the clearing out the fridge, I was doing that yesterday. So this is our fridge. And again, there's a lot of stuff in here. There was a lot of stuff that was pushed to the back. Some of it I've actually thrown out. So this is where we sort of keep condiments. That's my little muffin to have with my cup of tea this afternoon. And all this veg has got, that's a salad left over from last night. So that's sort of lunch times. There's some asparagus there to be used. I might actually throw some of that in the curry along with that bit of courgette that's there. There's bits of meat there, there's chicken, there's some of the lamb left from last night. Martin's been nibbling away on that. I've got a couple of packs of pate, and there's some salami sitting back there. Tomatoes and cucumber from the polytunnel, so they've got to be used. There's an aubergine there to be used. Some grapes that I bought last week. I really fancied some grapes and I bought them, and they are, as you can see, just sitting there. The last of the oranges off our orange tree have got to be used up, and there's a lemon there. There's another couple of aubergines which are ripening. Mushrooms that we've been foraging, and an onion that's been brought in ready for tonight's dinner. There's some bits of buffalo burgers and sausages left from doing the farmer's market yesterday, already cooked. So they're going to be, I thought I might do a frittata or something, just throw them in. That's mango chutney, that's garlic, broccoli, red cabbage, leek, celery. So the leek and celery, and that will go, and there's carrots at the bottom, will go into the vegetable soup. There's more courgettes and some swede there. This is what we got into a bad habit of doing, buying in ready-made yoghurt. Why, I don't know. So it's going to be back to making our own yoghurt. That's our milk. I don't know why we got soft cheese, because we don't use it. The Diet Coke, we don't drink Coke, but we have them in. Occasionally Martin gets when he's been working away and he's been given Cokes and everything, if he's gone and picked up a takeaway, they give him cans of Coke. And we've got loads sitting in the cupboard, and our grandson usually has some yeast, tomato puree, butter. That's the only butter I've got left. And what's up the top we don't count, because that's mushroom spawn waiting to be planted. That's my shopping list for this week. I need more butter. So I've gone through this cupboard, and it's just the Atora suet needs using before it goes out of date. Everything else I have checked the dates on, and everything else is fine. It's more condiments and cereals, which we don't eat anymore, but Martin likes to have Weetabix with yoghurt, and that's my granola oats we use to make I make flapjacks up. This is Martin's biscuit box with his golden wheels and that in, but I've told him we've got to stop buying them. And the other thing I come across, that's my toppings I use in my yoghurt. Right, let me show you in this tub. I don't know why we've got them. I think they've been bought on special offer. But it's all these packs of seasonings and sauces. I'm going to use that one up for the pulled pork. Why we got them, I don't know, because we generally just make our own batter. So I'm going to try and get through all of these, get them made up. I might give Martin that rice tonight, and get them cleared out of the cupboard, because usually everything we cook is from scratch. So, and that's that box. That cupboard is just I've gone through it, spices and herbs and that is stuff I use all the time. And these cupboards is all dehydrated stuff and so forth. So again, it's stuff I use all the time. And then of course the other area we've got, this is all canned stuff, all down there. And it's, of course, and then there's all the containers of dried stuff that we use, flour, sugar, all the basics, tea and that. I've got some jars of my own coconut flour and almond flour and that now. But yes, so we have got a bit of a food mountain. I won't show you the freezers, there's no point. Right, so hopefully, following some sort of plan, we will get sort of used up a lot of what we need to. I've specifically put pork on the menu this week and lamb because before we have got some more lambs to get done, and we have got, of course, the pigs to be done. The prawns, of course, we do buy in prawns, although Martin is going diving this weekend and he's hoping to get some shellfish, but that will be put away for Christmas if he does get any. So yeah, we are trying to, or I am trying to organise us so we're using up what's there, what's got to be used, reduce our food mountain. So this afternoon I'm going to be making up a big pot of vegetable soup, which I'm then going to freeze. I'm not putting any in the fridge for Martin's lunches. We've got to eat up what is in there. What else is on there on my list to do this week? Tomorrow I shall probably get out and pick rose hips, and at some point this week I've got to get out and pick the rest of the blueberries, and I've got to get the coleslaw made, of course, as well. So it's hopefully going to keep me on track, and I'm going to try and get this done each week and do a video of the progress that we're making and how we're finding it. But for me, there'll be nothing going on the shopping list. The meals I'm making up are using what we've got here in the house. I'm not buying in anything to make meals up with because we've got far too much stuff here. And there's another cupboard over there in the cupboard, but that in the corner, but that's jams, peanut butter, stuff like that. And I've got another cupboard of stores upstairs, which is all the spares of everything. And by spares I mean it's half a dozen of this and half a dozen of the other and whatever. Things that have been bought while they've been on special offer. But the whole thing does make me wonder how much, and I've just thought about it, we've got more cupboards out in the barn because everything, what's happening is, right, I'm digressing a bit here, because we're working on the kitchen. As you can see, it's still work in progress, etc. They're going to be knocking walls through, I think, in a fortnight. Well, because we're working on the kitchen, which is the worst room in the house to work on, it means all our foodstuffs, pickles, jams, chutneys, relishes, all this type of stuff that we generally include with our meals is scattered all around the house. So when I'm planning a meal, I tend to go to this cupboard here, go to the freezer, I'll pull something out, and everything else is getting ignored because I have to go around and hunt for it all. So once the pantry's done, so I was saying to Martin, the pantry is going to be, let me show you, that's going to be the doorway to the pantry, this window. Pantry's nice and dark, you can't really see in there, but that wall goes all the way back, and that is going to be our pantry space. Once the pantry's done, all our food will be in one place, and the other storeroom will have the freezers in, and the freezers will be all grouped together as well instead of all being scattered around. So meal planning will be a lot simpler, a lot simpler. It will be how it used to be. Perhaps just before we moved here, our meals were planned out each week on what we had in the house. So that is what we're going to go back to. Yeah, the other cupboards out in the barn, I've just thought there's some more canned goods out there, and there is jars of jams, jellies, pickles, relishes, chutneys, all that type of thing. And the other issue, of course, we have is we're not sitting down and eating a meal in the evening or even lunch. You know, we don't sit down together because here in the kitchen we've only got one chair. That's all we've got space for. And in the dining end of the living room, we have got boxes and boxes of stuff stacked everywhere. So we're sitting in front of the TV eating, which isn't good. Whereas we used to sit at the table, and I used to put out relishes and pickles and, you know, and all that, so we could help ourselves when we were having a meal. But because we're not sitting down, it's not happening. Yeah, so we've got to get it back under control. I find the state of my cupboards when I was going through them yesterday, I found it all I was quite embarrassed by it all. I thought, you know, this is stupid, this is ridiculous, it shouldn't be like this. So now they've been sorted and we know where we're going from now on. So I hope you'll join me on this journey and pop over to Tracy's and have a look at her videos on our smallholding adventure, and see how she's doing all hers. And then hopefully there'll be something you can, you know, take from it. Yeah, so it'd be nice if you were to subscribe, hit notifications, give us a thumbs up, you know, or whatever. And then you can follow my journey, do the same for Tracy, follow her journey. You know, let's have a bit of support for our fellow YouTubers. Right, I'm going to go off now and get my soup started. I've got the pot there with some stock that I've pulled out the freezer, which is defrosted. So I'm going to start doing the vegetable soup. It won't be long before I start doing dinner either. So I need to crack on, get them done, and I'll catch up with you on the next video and let you know how we got on this week, and hopefully be able to show you some of the things that have been done this week. So take care everybody, and I'll catch up with you again soon.